Hello, my name is NigelHughes. My project is called Relaxing with LED Lights. I chose an LED light project display as I find sensory therapy and mindfulness an interesting topic for a number of reasons. It has been proven to relax children, helps those with dementia, autism, and having been diagnosed myself with PTSD depression 4 years ago, I found using a sad light beneficial. Thus the discovery that LED lights help calm children intrigued me. Research shows that used correctly, LED lights can be relaxing. When conducting research, even I found myself watching various Arduino projects using lighting very relaxing. Initially I was going to choose a single programmable strip of LED lights. However, whilst researching LED strips and trying to decide which ones to purchase, I came across an LED shield which was 8x32 LED lights. I liked the look of the shield and couldn't see many projects that used it, which should have been a warning sign. Yet I thought it's a new tool, so I should try and get in there quickly before others do. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. LED light strips help direct soft lighting wherever you wish to create a calm and relaxed atmosphere. LED light strips can be mounted onto the wall to produce a colour wash of intense colours. This creates a special effect for users regardless of the sensory room location. Here is my prototype. As you watch the display, you should see what I mean from my earlier explanation, that the layers move independently of each other and the brightness changes constantly. The rationale. What does my product do? My product will, hopefully, reflect the sea by gently and slowly changing the LED lights from blue to green and back again across the shield. There are 4 layers of light and each layer moves independently of the other 3 and each is scaled separately. All 4 layers are added together on top of each other, and then another filter is applied that adds white caps of brightness where the waves line up with each other more. Finally, another pass is taken over the LED array to dim the blues and the greens so they're not too bright. The speed and scale and motion of each layer varies slowly. My theory is that most people love the sea and love just to eat some nice fish and chips whilst watching the sea, which usually has a calming effect. Hopefully the LED shield replicates this in some small way. Why? At my local junior school, which 2 of my children attend, there is a room called the Sparkle Hub. Children who are having a difficult time and need some quiet time can go to this room with a friend to chill out and relax. COVID and the ensuing lockdown has had a negative effect on a large proportion of the children at school. I know this from talking to the head that quite a large number of children are finding school challenging since lockdown and homeschooling, and they now have to pay for 2 outside counsellors, a Lego and a sound therapist to come into the school to help a number of children. Currently, the Spark room has books and some basic toys. I wanted to use this project to add an LED display to support mindful activities for the children. The build process. Step 1. I wired the breadboard with 2 resistors to divide the voltage. Step 2. I then wired the breadboard to the LED shield. Step 3. And then wired the controller board to the breadboard. Initially, I wanted to test the LED lights to ensure they worked. I downloaded pre-installed Sketch and Arduino and then tried to run the lights and nothing happened. It was completely blank. I didn't have any error messages or anything to tell me why it wasn't working, so it was back to the drawing board. Looking through the Arduino code, I noticed after a while that the pin number on the Arduino Sketch was pin 5, whereas I'd put my pin into pin 6. I changed the pin number in the code from 5 to 6, reran the code, and lo and behold, of course, the LED started working. However, whilst it was good news the shield was working, the downside was that only half the shield was working. So again, it was back to the drawing board and some more head scratching, some more looking at the code. And as I was looking through the code, I suddenly sort of realised that the number of LED lights in the code didn't equate to the number of LED lights on the actual shield. The number of lights in the code said 50, so I changed that to 144. I wanted to do it in small increments just to make sure that it was working and I was doing the right thing by doing it slowly. I then increased it to 256 and all the lights were working. I then found some code that I wanted to use for a C, downloaded that, and then I tweaked that code with the number of lights and the height and width until I got the effect that I wanted. Risks. One of the risks I identified in my original submission for the project was children do like to play with anything. Looking at Sensory websites such as Sensory Technology, it quickly became apparent that there was no breadboards or dangling wires of any sort. Everything was, of course, professionally sealed in large plastic cases to stop little fingers from interfering with any wires. Whilst my project was a prototype and not a professional product, the fact that I was handing it over to the school did cause me some concerns and made me sort of rethink my setup. After looking at the breadboard, I did think perhaps it was a wasted piece of kit. I managed to research some more and I found out that actually as long as I had 5 volts, no more than 5 volts going through, then it should be perfectly safe to use without a breadboard. So I could quite easily just add the wires straight from the board to the LED shield with just the ground, the 5 volts and whichever pin I would program the sketch in. I tried this and it worked without exploding. I then purchased a clear plastic box for the board from Amazon. This reduced the risk of little fingers playing around with stuff. The Arduino sketches were problematic. Whilst lots of examples for one-strip LEDs were available, LED shield ones were very rare. I did manage to find a couple, but they wouldn't work the way I wanted to with my LED shield. I finally managed to find one that worked on a 4x4 shield, and after several very frustration trial and errors over a number of days, I did manage to change the width and height settings to get the effect that I wanted. However, it also seemed to work if I just defined the number of LEDs at 256, so either way seems to work. That's something I need to look into further. My original project plan legacy was to hand the finished product over to the school. Following further talks with Ruth, the head of the school, where she told me about the counsellors, Lego and sand therapy that they were doing to help the children, it was evident they would find it challenging in supporting all of the children that needed help in one form or another. As I only had this assignment to finish before the end of the semester and I had a better understanding with LED lights than I had at the beginning, I decided to build another project. This time I went safe and purchased a single LED strip and programmed it to showcase the many colours that are available on the LED strip. So just before half term I handed the products over to the school with my 2 children in attendance. A couple of teachers, no pressure, watched the setup and thankfully the lights worked. I had my hand on my heart thinking, what if it doesn't work? One of the teachers commented that she found it very relaxing watching them, which was nice and was the whole idea behind the first Shield project. After discussion with the teachers, one of whom runs the Sparkle Room, we agreed it would be good to attach the LED strip to the notice board in the background. I suggested probably better if I got a plastic tube and then put the LED strip in the tube and then attach it with double backed tape. I then thought about the LED shield and suggested perhaps I should get a picture frame and mount it in the picture frame, because It didn't look right, just sat in a box low down, in my view. She agreed with me on that. So I agreed to go back after half term to add these finishing touches. Thank you for listening. Bye.